But how do you deal with somebody being inappropriate?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, if people are being inappropriate online, I just like don't reply. I kind of just like try to ignore. I've had like a few cases where people have been like really disturbing, like kind of stalky or a little bit like obviously unwell, like obsessively unwell, like in my filtered like message requests and stuff. And sometimes I don't tend to like block people like that because I want to know kind of like what they're doing, but I just don't respond or interact or like let them know that I've like viewed it and stuff because um I just kind of I'm like I just want to it's scary, right? I just want to like know. But I just tend to like ignore it. And I feel too like yeah, I'm like, I haven't been like posting as many thirst traps lately, and so I feel like I get less like creepy comments or associations that like I'm an OnlyFans person or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you think about the posting, like being a writer and doing and embracing that kind of thirst trap poster
I think
post?
it's fine. I feel like as long as someone is um happy with what they're doing and they feel like they're making an authentic decision to themselves when they're doing it, then like I'm all for that. I just feel like if people don't want to do that and they feel forced, then it's a bit like, well, I feel like people have agency, but you know, like I don't want, for me, I'm like, I don't want people to suffer. So if they're not liking doing that, then maybe they could examine like where that's coming from. But I think if people like want to, like it's fine. I post sexy online sometimes.
So
So
describe for people who don't know what is a thirst trap picture.
I would say a thirst trap is just a photo where you look really good. Normally your body's in it. It doesn't always have to be revealing, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just like look really good. So it's just like you're just laying a little trap to get a little bit of attention.
So when did you decide that you wanted to be a writer?
Oh, that's a good question. I read like Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, like during my, I think, first year of college, and it just blew my mind so much. And so I thought that that was like what I wanted to do. Like I was like, I'm destined to be a sci-fi writer, but um, I really did not think about wanting to write fiction, like real fiction, like books and stuff, until probably 2011 or 2012. I was like, I'm going to try to write a book. And I wanted to write like sci-fi. And then I got like 50 pages into this thing, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know? Um,
Read you
and
into Tom Spanbauer. Did you read his Man Who Fell in Love with the Moon?
yeah, I found his work actually through Chuck Palahniuk because I really loved Chuck Palahniuk in high school.
Mhm.
And like, Irvine Welsh and all that stuff. And um I remember like just trying to do a lot of research like, about like how did Chuck Palahniuk learn to write? I think I was on his Wikipedia page one day and I saw that he had been in this workshop, the Dangerous Writing Workshop, and so I learned about Tom. And I read some of his books and I signed up for this mailing list that's like, when we do the next workshop, we'll let you know. And then like 2 years passed and nothing happened. And then like out of the blue one day, I got an email from his husband Sage and he was like, we're opening enrollment for this. And I was like, this is what I have to do. I have to go and see what this is about. And once I went through his workshop, one of the like the first assignment that you have is you write about a moment where after you're different. And so it's one of those things that like affected me so deeply that I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is where I'm going. Like I'm actually looking for like the sore spots like in my life. And fiction is great because you can manipulate and look at this kind of like gem, right? Like of pain through all these different angles. And you can by manipulate, like you can lie or fudge, or it's not like you're writing like autofiction or roman à clef per se. It's more just like if you seek like where you experience suffering, everyone kind of does, and you can kind of extrapolate that more deeply into like anything that you're trying to write.
I read where you talked about that this was the first one where you kind of had an outline.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the
I've
first one where
never
I
worked
planned
with
it.
an outline. I mean, it's just kind of like, what was it like to have that?
It was so the first draft was faster, which is like really nice in a way, I think, because I I was trying to work on something else and I kept getting stuck like half like 50,000 words in and being like, I just don't know what I'm doing, where I'm trying to go with this. Um, and I don't know how to get through this like lull, like through the middle of the story. And so because I was like breastfeeding at the time and I just had like so much brain fog and I just feel like I wasn't producing my best work. I kind of was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna try to do something really basic. And so I just tried to read about like what is a plot, right? Like I was like, what even is that? Like I tried to like figure it out and explain it to myself. And um from there, that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to. I didn't actually create like an official outline, but what I did was I got this like big roll of like butcher paper, and then I just like drew lines on it for like where I thought stuff could happen. And then I would just like, I put it on my kitchen wall. And so from there, I was like, I'm just gonna try to follow this from A to B and finish this in like 3 months. And so after I spent like 2 weeks kind of doing some planning and thinking about what I wanted to do, then I sat down and I finished like the first draft in like 9 weeks or something crazy like that. And um it was terrible, but I had a draft to like work from. You know what I mean? Like, and I
Yeah,
knew,
oh, that, I mean, to
yeah,
me, you know,
yeah. And part of it was that like I always knew how it was going to end. So that I think also made it easy because I was like, I just have to figure out how to like get her, th like my main character, like there, like where I want her to be. Um, so I think it did. It was nice. It helped. And I've been trying to do that with this next book, but I have gone back to the drawing board like so many times, and I'm actually kind of tired of thinking about structure and like all these things. I think it's actually kind of like holding me back this time, which is frustrating in a way because it's like every time you sit down to start a new book, you're kind of like, oh, it feels like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing every time.
yeah, that is it. It's trying to keep that faith going, and that it is like that. Oh, you just get back on the bike, but with writing, it is different. It was really cool talking to Elle Nash. I love how your thing is like Nash with a G. I just only recently caught that, and I was like, ah.
Oh yeah, my email.